got fitted Japan. Yeah, all the telling me on business. I'm all about my business, but I ain't got no briefcase. Yeah, all I got's some whiskey. Open and the whiskey, bring it to you. Yeah, I'm leaning up against the door, and my feet set to the floor, and we're messing on and go. Yeah, I've been in before. I'm a broken man, needing remedial lands. I'm all about my business. Let me love you till the morning. Let me love you till the morning, yeah.
Run dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Am I live? Am I live? Is this live? I think I'm live. Uh-oh. I'm live. Okay, good enough. Okay, here we go. Oh, weird. Run dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Is this live? I think I'm live.
All right.
Uh-oh.
You are live, Johnny. You're live.
I'm live.
You're live. You're live, Johnny. That was some delayed echo-ness. Okay, what's up, feeders? Welcome to yet another action-packed episode of Got Fitted Japan, and I am your host, Johnny. And as you fine folks know, Got Fitted Japan is about two dudes, booze, Japan, and the news. But yeah, my partner in crime, Mr. Tom Tom Tokyo, Mr. AKA Beer Claus, didn't show up today. So yes, I'm all by myself, and that's all good because hey, I've got a plan. I got a plan that's been in the works for a long time. And this plan is not only to entertain today, but also to educate. And hey, this is like 2:57 in the afternoon, 14:57. And yeah, so it's a little early for me to be drinking because I got a lot of shit I gotta do because today, right now, at this very moment, it is Christmas Eve here in Japan. So happy holidays, faders. Whatever religion, whatever you believe in and stuff, hey man, we salute you. That's awesome. Me, I don't believe in anything. I believe in the universe. But for me, in Japan, my wife and I, we do celebrate Christmas as basically a time for the family to come together and for us just to celebrate our time together, our love together, and so on. So I call up all my friends. I'm like, yo, Merry Christmas, motherfucker. And we just have a good time. Yeah, so yeah, Christmas is great. And yes. For today, I was thinking about teaching you guys something very interesting. Now, over the years, I've been recommended to do something as most YouTubers here in Japan do, like basically show you the coolest bars in Kabukicho, or to show you like the best nightclubs in Tokyo, or to show you like the scariest graveyards in Japan, or to show you like the best ramen or the best sushi. You know, there's been a million YouTubers that have come here and they've done it, and they've done it better than anything I could have done, right? So there's no point for me to tell you about like the best ramen or the best bar, the best anything like that. Just Google it and you'll find like a billion people all coming to Japan and being like, yo, this is the best sushi. That's great. That's fantastic. I did that in the past. I'm done. I did that in 2009. But what I can do is I can teach you something here in Japan that most people cannot teach you. I can help you start something that most people in Japan can't start. In fact, I mean, if anybody other than like a small group of people that I know try to teach you how to do this, it's going to be basically mayhem. You're going to mess up and lose a lot of money. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is teach you how to be an event organizer, aka a promoter here in Japan. Now, there are many different kinds of event promoters, right? There's corporate promoters, and I've done corporate stuff before. Great budgets, very boring. There's DJ events. I've been doing DJ events since I was in college, and they're great. That's kind of like my world. There's band events, band concerts, rock and roll bands. There's jazz, any kind of music you can think of. There's those kind of events. There's also comedy events. There's comedy events. There's film festivals, wrestling events, art exhibitions. And basically, in today's world, I focus my time on band events and on art exhibitions. Those are the things that I do. But if you can organize a band event, you can organize a DJ event. And I've done both of those, and I did both of those very well. So that's basically what I'm going to teach you how to do here today, right? And the thing is, this is Japan. Everybody's right. Everybody knows everything about everything in Japan. Whenever somebody comes to Japan, they get off the plane, they know everything, right? So the thing is, I'm not going to tell you that this is the way to do it. I'm going to tell you that this is the way that I've done things and that they've been successful to me. Okay. So, because I know people are going to send me a message, or one of my friends at the bar is going to be like, Johnny, that's full of shit. I mean, we'll see what happens. But the thing is, it's just like, yeah, this is how I did it. This is how I got involved. This is my story. And hopefully, this can help you do your event and create something really cool. Maybe build a community, and help people meet each other and, make something special in Japan. Or maybe if you're not in Japan, maybe you can take some of these things that I've written down and maybe make it, maybe do something like this in your part of the world, wherever you're at. Oh, by the way, Got Fit in Japan is about two dudes, booze, Japan, the news. And I'm not drinking booze. I'm drinking coffee. So sue me. Okay, so I have this broken down in chapters. Okay, so every chapter you're going to learn something new, kind of like a book, right? So here we go. Chapter number 1 is my history, how I got involved in nightclubs and organizing events. Okay. Now, I grew up in the GTA, the greater Detroit area. And at that time when I was in high school, we had raves, real hardcore, old school underground raves. These raves were at abandoned warehouses, abandoned factories. They were actually in like old apartment buildings that had holes in the floor. I mean, these raves were absolutely insane. They were off the hook. And when I was like, I think I went to my first rave when I was 15 years old, and it blew me away. I loved everything about it. I loved the music. I loved the dancing. I loved people getting together and meeting each other and stuff. I just loved the energy of it. It was fantastic. I fell in love. I wanted to be a DJ. First thing I wanted to do was be a DJ. I kind of wanted to organize parties, but I had no idea how to do that. Actually, I had no idea how to be a DJ at that time too, but that's for later in the story. Now, I from then I just started going to raves. Almost every single weekend, I would sneak out of my house and I would go to a rave. Or when I got a little bit older, when I turned 16 and I had a car, I would just drive to the raves myself, And I absolutely loved it. It was so cool. And I saw some of the best DJs. Juan Atkins, Claude Young, Jeff Mills. Oh God, it was great. Had Atomic at a short, he's who knows where he is now, but oh my God, that guy was one of the techno gods of Detroit for the longest time. Richie Houghton, of course, Plastic Man, absolutely fantastic. But anyway, I digress. When I got older and I moved to San Francisco, I wanted to DJ, and so I basically went to a lot of events, and I loved drum and bass music. At that time, they called it jungle, and I went to a lot of events. I met a lot of DJs, and I would go to tons of nightclubs. And when I would go to nightclubs, I would just watch the DJs, and I would learn how to DJ by watching, and I would hang out with the DJs. You know how you become friends with a DJ? Buy him a drink. Easy. Or give him cigarettes. That's easy too. Now I think cigarettes are more expensive than drinks, but whatever. So I became friends with a lot of DJs. And so I started slowly learning how to DJ. I learned more about the music. I learned more about the whole culture of it and stuff. And basically I learned everything I could about nightclubs, about events, about DJs, DJ culture, this, that, and the other thing, and I absolutely wanted to be a part of it. I mean, as much as I could have. And so I started DJing. And once I started DJing, I thought I was the shit. I sucked in reality, though. Shh. But I thought it was awesome. So I made a mixtape. And I took that mixtape and I copied it 1,000,000 times. And I went to every single nightclub in San Francisco. And I gave them my mixtape. And I said, hey, I'm Johnny, and AKA DJ Nee. And I want to DJ here. And they're like, great, we'll give it a listen. They never listened. And then I met up with all my friends. I gave them the copies of my tapes. I met up with other promoters. I gave them the copy of my tape, and nobody booked me. I got 0 bookings. I got negative 0 bookings. You do the math on that. And it was pretty bad, and I felt kind of low. And then my girlfriend at the time and 2 of my friends had a birthday party, right? Well, all right, they had a birthday and they wanted to have a party. And my girlfriend at the time and I, we were walking down Polk Street, and we saw this cafe that just closed down, and there's a sign that said, "We can host your party." And I was like, huh, we can have your birthday party here. And my girlfriend at the time was like, "That's a great idea. We could do that. We could have my party and then his party and the other guy's party, and we could have it here. It'll be like a big party." And I'm like, "Great, great, great, great. That'll be fantastic. And I can DJ and I can book some of my friends." And so overnight, I became a promoter, an organizer. And then overnight, I became really successful. Because at that time, I had all the connections and resources of being a university student, which I completely took advantage of. And then from there, the rest is history. I organized events there for, geez, I think like maybe 8 months, 6 months, 8 months or something. I had a monthly there. And then we got too big. And so we rented out another club. And that club at the time was called The Cellar. And we got way too big for The Cellar. So then we moved to another club. And that club was, don't quote me on this, but it's 330 Rich or something. But anyway, we just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And before I left San Francisco and came to Japan to DJ and to work at Kawasaki FM, what happened was I was organizing one major event called Melting Pot, and that was a monthly event. And then twice a week, I had 2 smaller events at another nightclub. And then every so often, me and my other friends, Audio Void, who's been on the podcast, we organized a rave in Oakland called Mosaic. That's right. Oh my God, still got it. And yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And through that time, I learned a lot about organizing and working with people and how to do it and how to do it well. So when I came to Japan, I applied everything I knew, and I kind of failed. Because Japan, or Tokyo at least, is a whole different ballgame. I mean, it's the same concept. People come to a club, they dance, they pay, they leave, right? But yeah, it's different. And so it took me a while to kind of get it here in Japan, right? So that leads us to chapter 2. Now, chapter 2 is kind of similar to chapter 1. The title of chapter 2 is Before You Start. Okay, before you start organizing any kind of event, you've got to love the scene. You got to absolutely adore the scene. If you want to do comedy events, you got to love comedy. You got to know everything about comedy. People will test you. They'll start talking about comics and stand-up comics in like Los Angeles, Las Vegas, old ones, new ones. They'll talk about anything. They'll talk about clubs all over the world, and you got to know that stuff, right? So if you want to do DJ events, rock and roll events, hip-hop events, jazz events, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know everything about the scene, right? You got to know about the music. Also, you got to go out. You got to go out and you got to meet people. You got to talk to people, you got to make connections, you got to know other promoters. It's great to know other promoters. In the scenes that I work in, most of actually in the music scene that I work in, every promoter that I know is absolutely fantastic. And the art scene, it's a little bit different. Art scene is art scene. So that's why we're not going to talk about art scene. Art scene is like, it's like a different universe. Same concept though, but anyway, so get out there, make connections, meet people, make friends, just be yourself, be positive, be happy, smile, hang out with people, take people out. And the best way to meet somebody and to actually really get to talk to them and stuff, if you're at a club or a bar or something like that, or some kind of event, buy them a drink. Everybody loves a free drink, right? And when you buy somebody a drink, they talk to you, or at least for a little bit, at least, So it's a great way to meet people. Like, hey, you organize this event? Oh my gosh, I'm interested in like organizing events too. I really love this kind of music, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I was going to go to the bar and get a drink. Do you want a drink? Let's go get a drink together. Come on. What are you having? You beer? Okay. 2 beers, please. Yep, 2 beers, and you do shots? Oh, wow. Two beers, 2 shots. Let's rock and roll. Boom. From there, the doors are open. You can have a great conversation. Make sure you get the gram, get their Instagram or TikTok, Twitter, whatever SNS they're on and stuff. Here in Japan, everybody's online. If you want to communicate with anybody, any promoter, any organizer, any DJ that's Japanese, non-Japanese, Korean, whatever, you're definitely going to need to have Line. Okay, download it now. Delicious hot coffee. Merry Christmas. Can't believe it's Christmas Eve already. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Okay, so basically chapter 2 is love the scene. Love everything about it. Okay, now this moves us to chapter 3. Title of chapter 3 is, well, what now? What now? Okay. I believe once you know a lot of people in the scene, and if you want to make an event, like let's say a DJ event or a rock and roll event or whatever like that, you got to choose a venue. You need a home base, right? Now, you got to decide on how you're going to operate. Are you going to have one club, and that's going to be the club that you use every single week, every single month, every couple of months? Or are you going to go from place to place to place to place? No, if you're going to establish like an event and call yourself something like maybe like Tokyo Terrorist or maybe Tokyo Massive or whatever name you give your event, it's probably best to have it at the same venue, right? Now, you can have it at the same venue as a competitor. I don't recommend that, but some people do. If you go to Womb, on like Thursday night, they're going to have techno. But on Saturday night, they're also going to have techno. 2 different promoters, right? I think it's best to have your own place, but, to each their own. You make your own decisions. Another thing about venues is location, location, location. Now, you can have an amazing location that's near a major station. For example, you've got Shibuya, you've got Shinjuku, you've got Ikebukuro, you've got Ginza, you've got Shinagawa to a degree. You can have a major station and a nightclub that's near there, right? That's cool. If you want to have something that's close to a station, I recommend having your venue be at least a 10 to 15 minute walk. 15 minutes is kind of pushing it, but I would say a 10-minute walk. Now that's convenient. That's a great walk. And that's kind of on average, to be honest. So what's going to happen there is you're going to get all your diehard fans. They're going to come in, but you're also going to get a lot of tourists. A lot of tourists come to go to venues because A, they find it on the internet, but also they find it just because they walk by it. They walk by it and they hear the music, they come in. My Shibuya venue, I would say 30 to 40% are tourists at this point. Every time I have an event, there's a big group of people that come in and they're like, "Oh, what's happening here, mate?" And I'm like, "It's a rock and roll event. Come on in. I'll cut you a discount." They come in, they have a great night. It's fantastic. Everybody's happy. But if you want to do something that's kind of underground and kind of cool, you don't want to have a lot of tourists come in. In that case there, having something that's a little far out of the way is actually better. Because the people that really want to have that underground vibe, they're going to go out of their way and even get lost trying to find this place just to be at the place. A perfect case in point is Bonobo. Club Bonobo in Harajuku is not easy to get to. It's not the funnest walk from Harajuku Station. It's kind of a waste. It's like a 20-minute walk. But the thing is, Bonobo has this underground vibe to it. Back in the day, it used to be legitimately underground. It was like an underground club. But now it's like all over the internet. Like I would say there's a big percentage of like like Facebook events for me to go to, whatever, invites, and they're to like Bonobo. And I'm like, not really underground anymore. But still, it's still a fun place to visit. But anyway, it depends on what you want. Do you want to have like a big club that's near the station, or do you want to have something underground? You got to choose. Location, location, location. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Oh, size. Next thing is size. Okay. If you're going to start your first event, I highly recommend that you start small. Start small, learn the ropes, and grow. That's the best way to do it. Because if you do that, let's say you get a club that holds 50 people and 35 people show up. It's a comfortable party. People are having a good time. It's great. Nobody's talking any smack. Now, if you get a club that's like that can hold like 150 people or 350 people, and then 50 people or 80 people show up. So 80 people is a lot, but in a club or a venue that holds like 350, dude, I guess what, man? It's not going to look cool. It's not going to look good. People are going to say, yeah, there are some people there, but I don't know. It's all right, you know? So I recommend starting off small. And I also recommend having a venue that's kind of close to a station. All right. So those are two things I do recommend. Now, there's pros and cons to both of those. I know, but it's your decision. It's your party. Okay. Next is money. Money, money, money. Now, okay, when it comes to venue cost, there's a couple of different systems that we have here in Tokyo. Now, I can't say anything about Osaka or any other place in Japan because I live in Tokyo and I've only operated here in Tokyo. Okay, the first thing is free. Free. Free, free, free. Free is the best. Absolutely. Now, a couple of ways on how you can get an event for free or a space for free is that basically, you know, the owner, maybe the owner needs people to come in and yeah, you get it for free. Or you work at the venue. If you work at the venue, you could probably get it for free. A couple of things that you can also do is, well, find a day where nothing's happening. If nothing's happening on Monday, and you can guarantee that you can bring in like 150 people on a Monday, you'll probably get it for free. So if you can get a venue for free, it's great. Another thing that you can do, which I generally do, is rent out full. Rent out full is where you rent the whole venue. You go in there and you're like, how much is it for one night? And they just say a certain number and you say, okay, I'll take it. And so then what happens is you own that spot. That spot is yours. You can do anything you want in that spot. Oh, well, I mean, you got a contract, so you can't do anything you want to do, but you can do enough, right? And then in that case there, all the staff works for you. Right? You can tell them what to do. You're like, there's a broken glass, go clean it up. There's a problem with the toilet, go clean it up. You can do anything. There's a problem with the sound. Hey, sound guy, make the bass high. Anything you want. I mean, don't be a jerk, of course, but I mean, yeah, when you rent the place out, you know, you own that place. Now, there's pros and cons of renting the place out. Now, let's break this down for a second. Okay, one thing, if you rent the place out, you get 100% of the door. Whatever you charge for tickets, you get. So if you charge, let's just say 4,000, 5,000 yen for a ticket, every person that comes in that pays 5,000 yen, it goes in your pocket, right? Now that's great. That's fantastic. And a bad thing is you will never get the bar in Japan. I have never, ever heard of an organizer getting a cut of the bar. Usually when you rent a place out, the bar is its own business. Right? So every drink that's sold, the venue keeps, right? But if you, but you get the door, so it kind of works out okay, you know? Now in San Francisco, the last club that I used to run out, I would get a percentage of the bar, which is crazy. So I get all of the door and I get a percentage of the door. I was making money hand over fist. It was crazy. Now, a con about renting the whole club out is this. Nobody shows. If nobody shows, you make no money. And there's a whole myriad of reasons why nobody will show. A, earthquake. B, let's say there's a typhoon somewhere or an earthquake somewhere else or something in Japan. Or another some kind of natural disaster. Or it just rains too much. In Tokyo, if it rains, people don't go out that much. Anytime it rains, you just lost 50% of your audience. Guaranteed, right? It's just the way it goes here, right? And yeah, that sucks. That's happened to me and it sucks. It's terrible. But that's just the price you got to pay. So, I mean, literally, you rent the place out, you're paying, right? So, okay, renting the place out has got its pros and cons. Now, here's a couple of other things that you can do. And a lot of clubs do this. Okay, there's the other system, and this system's called the kickback system. Now, there's two styles of kickback, okay? Now, one style of kickback is that you go to the club and you say, listen, I want to rent this place out on a Friday and I want to do the kickback system. What is it? And the club will say either A or B. Now, A is this, and most clubs do A, I think. Now, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, great. What will happen is this. We get the bar. All the money at the bar, ours. However, once you get a percentage of people in, like let's say the club is 50% full, or like maybe they'll say a certain number, like after like 60 people or 100 people come in, then after that you get the door. But you got to make that 100-person quota. So after 100 people come in paying us, then after that, you get everything else. So if another 200 people come in, you get that money, right? And that's kickback. Now, there's another form of kickback that some clubs do, but most clubs generally don't, right? And this style is like this, okay? Once again, of course, the club gets the bar. The bar is the club's. But what they'll do is they'll say, listen, you can charge whatever you want for a ticket. You can charge 1,000 yen, 5,000 yen, 10,000 yen, whatever you want to charge, it's okay. However, we will get 1,000 yen from every ticket that you sell. So for every person that comes in, we get 1,000 yen. So let's say you charge 2,000 yen for a ticket and somebody comes in, we get 1,000, you get 1,000. If you charge 10,000, we get 1,000, you get 9,000. That's how it works. Or they just say 50%. We get 50% of the cost of the ticket. You charge 10,000, we get 5,000, you get 5,000. That's kind of like another form of kickback. But anyway, kickbacks are good, and they're a great way for you to start organizing events, right? Just to get your foot in the door. And what you can do is for some events or some clubs, you can start off with the kickback, and you can do that for a while. And if things are all good and you're kind of friendly with like the venue owners and stuff, you can switch to something else. Most likely not free, but you could probably rent the club out. They generally have no problem with that. Okay. And I guess the pros and cons of the kickback system is a pro would be that you basically you learn the ropes of the venue, you learn the ropes of organizing, you make tons of connections just by people coming in and stuff, and you do get a certain amount of money for you to pay your staff, for if you have like a security, or if the club doesn't have security, or your photographers, your DJs, your bands, whatever you have, you got dancers, pole dancers. That's what I mean by staff, not bar staff, right? So you've got money to pay them, you've got money for promotion, you've got money in your pocket, right? So that's kind of a good thing. Less risk, basically is what I'm saying, less risk. However, generally speaking, you don't make that much money. You generally don't make that much money. The clubs are kind of like Vegas. They always kind of win, right? So, and another thing that's kind of bad is, what if you have like one bad night and then another bad night? Now, if you have one bad night where like the club doesn't make their quota, like they don't make, like let's say this like it's called kickback style A, where they need to get 60 people in, and then after 60, you basically get all the money from all the tickets being sold, right? Now, let's say only 10 people show up. It was raining. Oh boy, that sucks. The club's pissed and you're disappointed. You didn't make any money. And the few people that showed up didn't have a good time. You know, they're taking photos of themselves, selfies, and the club is empty. It makes you look bad. It makes you look really, really bad. And if that happens once, yeah, it's kind of acceptable. If it happens a second time, then it's kind of really bad. Then you're kind of like on the list, right? And if it happens a third time, you're done. Game over, bye-bye, sayonara. You can start over somewhere else, but not at that club, you know, because I mean, the whole purpose of a club is to make money. They want to make money. You want to do something different. You want to start a scene. You want to like have like a lot of people come in and enjoy themselves. You know, maybe you just love it and stuff. You do it for one reason, the club does it for another. All clubs do it for money. Trust me. So yes, once again, the four styles of paying a venue is free. The venue's free. Next, renting it out 100%. That's what I generally do. And then the kickback, the two styles of kickback. Okay, excellent. Moving forward to chapter 4. Chapter 4 is paying the talent. Paying the talent, yes. And by talent, I mean anybody that works for you, minus the bartenders. Now, okay, so when it comes to paying the talent, there's a couple of things that you can do, okay? Now, first off, you don't pay them. right? That's your first option. I disagree with that. I think everybody should get paid, especially if you're getting paid. But in Japan, here, well, at least in Tokyo, we are oversaturated with DJs. We're oversaturated with bands. We're oversaturated with anything and everything. And especially like when it comes to like Japanese DJs or international DJs. I mean, dude, I live near Haneda Airport, and every single day I see planes coming and landing. More planes are landing than leaving. It's weird. And every plane that lands, I guarantee at least 10 people are DJs. At least 4 people are carrying guitars. There are so many musicians coming and living here, and it's just crazy. Musicians, artists, singers, actors, models. Oh God. Oh God. If another person comes up to me and they say, "Yeah, I'm a model. I work for this company. Here's my card," or "Here, check out my Instagram." I'm gonna puke. Don't tell me you're a model. Don't, don't do it. But yeah, there's so many people coming here and stuff. It's oversaturated, and yeah, it's been oversaturated for a long time, to be honest. And yeah, a lot of organizers don't pay. Actually, a lot of organizers don't pay, and it's kind of bad to the point where like actually we have this pay to play system. Like when I book a new band, sometimes they ask me, "Hey Johnny, how much do we have to pay you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I pay you." And they're like, "Why do you pay us?" I'm like, "Because you're a performer and I pay performers." A lot of venues and not a lot. I'm going to say some venues and some organizers do not pay the talent. In fact, they have the talent pay them. Like, "Hey, I've got the best club. I've got the best sound system. I'm the best organizer. I'm number one. You want to be on my side? You got to pay me." And then that's what they do. And yeah, I don't like that system at all. I've never, ever accepted money from any band, ever. Never. Drinks? Yeah, I'll take a drink. But no. So that's one. Okay. Now, let's say you've got an event and you want to pay your talent, right? Let's just go with DJs. DJs are easy, okay? So you want to pay your DJs. All right, so you've got a couple of options on how to pay them. You can do a flat rate, like every DJ gets paid 5,000 yen, or every DJ gets paid 1,000,000 yen, or something. And that's what you can do, and you can do that for all your DJs. Now, if you have DJs that are really famous, and then you've got DJs that are mildly famous, you're definitely going to have to pay the famous DJs way more than the non-famous DJs. In fact, usually there's like levels of 3, A, B, C. You've got your A-list DJs that get paid a lot of money, B-list DJs that get paid some money, and then you got C-list DJs that get, they just get enough money. I would say 5,000 yen. 5,000 yen is like the minimum you should pay a DJ. Also, get them drinks, drink tickets. Always give drink tickets. A lot of times when bands and whatchamacallit, DJs play for free, they usually do get like 1 or 2 drink tickets. Like, "Here's 2 drink tickets. Thank you very much for working." You're working for drinks. You're dancing for drinks. You know? And I mean, that's just how it is in Tokyo. This is how it is. When a market's oversaturated, that's fine, I guess. I mean, it's not, but it is. But anyway, yeah, I've always paid, and you should too. Always try to pay. Now, another way to pay, and this is actually more of like a common way amongst like my friends who are organizers, this is what we're doing. This is what I generally do too, is basically, let's say you've got a DJ and that DJ brings a friend, right? And that friend is on the DJ's list. Now, if that friend is on a DJ's list, that friend will basically, a percentage of his ticket will go to the DJ. So let's just say, for example, I'm charging, let's say 1,000 yen for a ticket, right? And DJ Bobby Bob comes in and he's like, "Yo, this is my friend." Or maybe his friend just shows up and he's like, "Yo, I'm on the list." And I'm like, "Okay, check on the list for DJ Bobby Bob." Then at the end of the night, all the friends that were on DJ Bobby Bob's list, those people, I add them up, and then I take that number and I multiply it times, let's say, for example, 500 yen. And then that's the amount of money that the DJ gets. So for every person that the DJ brings in, the DJ makes a little bit more money. Now, this is great Now, there's pros and cons of this. Cons are sometimes people say, DJs say, yo, I don't bring people. You bring people. That's your job, bitch. You want me to work for you? No, it doesn't work that way. Do you know who I am? I've heard, do you know who I am so many times. If I hear it again, right? So you do get a little bit of attitude. Sometimes that's kind of a con. Now, the pro is it gives everybody incentive. It gives all the other bands, all the other DJs, all the people that are like kind of like in your group, because everybody's kind of working together for the common good, it gives them incentive to bring people to the event, I mean, if you got a DJ that has like, I mean, 'cause sometimes DJs don't have day jobs, sometimes they're a cook, they work at a restaurant or izakaya or something during the day. At night, they're a DJ and they just don't make that much money. And if they need money, they're like, okay, cool, Johnny, I'm playing at your event and I'm going to bring 50 people. Oh shit, that's awesome. Great. Awesome. So that person brings in 50 people. They get paid for 50 people. They're happy. I'm happy. Their 50 friends are happy because they came to like a bitchin' party. And so everybody's happy. The club is happy. Everybody's happy. It's great. So this system, in my opinion, is the best system to use. So yeah. And yeah, I don't know if there's any flaws with that. I think generally people bring in their friends. Okay. Oh, it works better with bands than DJs, to be honest, though, because DJs, a DJ will bring 10 friends, and then a band with 4 people can bring in like 50 friends, right? So if you are organizing music events with bands, like jazz bands, rock bands, whatever, you're going to make more money with that. If you're in it for the money, I mean, some promoters are in it for the money. I'm not. I'm in it for the scene. Okay, so for chapter 4.5, moving forward. Okay, how to get talent, how to get DJs, how to get bands. There's 2 different styles to do this. One is go back to chapter 2. Know the scene, love the scene. If you know the scene and love the scene, you already know everybody. You already know all the cool people. You know the dicks. You know who to go to. You know who to stay away from. You know everything. Now, the second thing is just use the internet. Just throw an ad out there. Just go, like, I mean, if you're a part of like, if you're into the techno scene here in Tokyo, or if you want to be a part of the techno scene, just go to like Resident Advisor, some other like website or Facebook or Instagram, and just start contacting people, cold calling them, maybe make an advertisement at Meta, do whatever you got to do just to like meet people and stuff. And Meta, and I'll be honest with Meta, I've used Meta quite a bit, and advertisements on Meta, you get a lot. You get some cool people, but you also get, okay, you get like maybe 75% cool people and about 25% crazy people, like people who are completely out of their mind, unreasonable, psychotic, really mean. I mean, you just get people that respond to the ad just to hate you. Just to despise you, just to lead you on, just to give you a little tease and then spit in your face. You get a lot of crazy people. You also open yourself up to con men. And I'll be honest, I could have a whole goddamn episode on con men here in Tokyo. There are a lot of con men. If you're an international person here in Japan, like American, French, German, Spanish, whatever, I don't care. If you're an international person here in Japan, there is a massive amount of international con men that are here that they have no talent, but they're kind of like snakes, and like they're snakes in a garden looking for an easy prey. So if you put yourself on Meta, you're opening yourself up to anybody and everybody. So be careful with advertising on Meta. Trust me, I've had all the above experiences and it's not fun. But 75%, maybe a little bit more, maybe 80% are really great people, awesome people, fantastic people, some of the best. I've made friends through the advertisements. So, I mean, I don't know, you live, you learn, I guess. Okay, so that's chapter 4.5, getting talent. Chapter 5.
Yo, what's up, Faders? Got Faded Japan has got a new sponsor. Our new sponsor is Gamuso Bar, located in Asagaya, Tokyo. If you're kicking it in Tokyo and you want to get your groove on, get your fade on, you better get your ass down to Gamuso. Gamuso is located in Asagaya. It's about 11 minutes from Shinjuku Station on the Chuo line. Gamuso has weekly bands, weekly performances. And hell, if you got your own event and you want to hold it at Gamuso, we'd love to host you. So contact Gamuso at www.gamuso.com. That's www.gamuso.com. That's right, Gamuso has not only beers in the bottle, but beers on tap. We've got every drink you want, so come on down to Gamuso. Gamuso, and if I'm working, tip me.
Have your attention, please. Attention.
Hey, yo, what's up, Vaders? Johnny here. You know I love booze and news, but I also love art. So come on down to thespiltinc.com and check my art out. I've got tons of stuff there for you to check out. I've got paintings, I got prints, I got videos. And I tell you what, if you like a painting, I could probably sell it to you. And I tell you what, if I can't sell you that painting, I will definitely sell you a print. I've got prints of all my work. Prints are about 2,000 yen each, about $20, but if you buy two, you get the third one for free. So come on down to thespiltinc.com. Yo, and on top of that, I'm looking for commissioned work. So if there's something that you want me to do, I can make it for you. Just check out my stuff and see if you like my style. And if you like my style, I can definitely paint you anything on canvas, paper, whatever. I've done it all. So come on down to thespiltinc.com. That is THESPILTINK.com. Thespiltink.com. Proper. Mitsuya Liquors. Yo, what's up, faders? If you're in Asia, if you're in Japan, if you're in Tokyo, if you're in Asagaya, you better get down to Mitsuya Liquors. That's right, for the most affordable prices in Japan, you can get over 300 different kinds of beer. That's right, over 300 different kinds of beer. And of course, they got all the shochu you need, all the sake you need, and of course, they got wine from California to Italy to France to New Zealand. They got it all. When I say they got it all, they really, seriously got it all. There's no joke about that. So get down to Mitsuya Liquors. And if you go in there and you say, got fit in Japan, you will be more than welcome to go into their back room and drink those beers that you just purchased. That's right, got fit in Japan at Mitsuya Liquors. And 3 times a week, they have a sushi chef there. So get your sushi on, get your drink on, get your fade on, and come on down to Mitsuya Liquors, located comfortably in Asagaya, about 5-minute walk from the station.
In Tokyo and craving soul food? We've got just the place for you. Soul Food House in Azabu-Juban. Check out what we do at soulfoodhouse.com. Come by and taste the love. We look forward to feeding you.
Are you at Harajuku with some out-of-town friends or your family or significant others? Yeah! Do you want to chill and drink beer and eat sandwiches while your friends overpay for glitter unicorn socks? Yeah!
And the flavor's gonna make you complete at Harry's Sandwich Company.
So come on down to Harry's Sandwich Company in the heart of Harajuku, right off Takeshita Street. See you there!
Chapter 5. Chapter 5. Money. Money, money, money. And when I say money, I say sponsorship. Yeah, sponsorship. How do you get sponsorship? I have no idea. Sponsorship. Okay. Realistically, sponsorship is absolutely fantastic. Sponsorship is great. Now, there's 2 different forms of sponsorship. The first form is friendly sponsorship. Friendly sponsorship is fantastic because basically it's your friends. If you have a friend that has a company, if you have a friend that has a business, if you have a friend that has a restaurant, a bar, this, that, or the other thing, a clothing line, if you have a friend that's trying to get a business, some exposure, you can do advertising for them, aka sponsorship. They give you money, you promote them along with your event. Win-win situation, everybody's happy. Now, the second form of sponsorship is good, really good, but it's got some cons. Well, this is corporate. if you get a corporate sponsor, let's just say Google. Actually, I don't think Google's ever going to sponsor you. Don't even try to get Google. It's never going to happen. But any form of like a corporate sponsor. Let's just say, for lack of a better company, let's just say Camel Cigarettes, because they used to organize and they used to sponsor raves back in the 90s. Fact. Especially in Los Angeles, which is kind of weird. Because now everybody's like anti-smoking in Los Angeles. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so corporate sponsorship is very fantastic because A, you get a lot of money. Corporate sponsorship, they have no problem giving you 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Though, depending on the event that you're doing, they will give you money, which is fantastic. But then you got to follow some rules. Your event can't have this. Your event has to be like this. Your event, they have a little bit of say once they start, well, not a little bit, they have some control of your event once they give you money, right? Because it's a corporation and that's how they work, right? Another thing is then you really got to get into your taxes, right? So at the end of the year, when you're filing your taxes, they're going to call you a write-off, right? So you're going to be a tax write-off for them, which means you're going to have to file your taxes accordingly with how they filed their taxes and so on. And there's a lot of paperwork and it gets really messy. And it's basically something you got to give to your accountant. And it gets bad. And sometimes you have to pay taxes on the event and all this other stuff. I've been there. It sucks. I do not do corporate. No. I'm not saying never, but I'm going to try to avoid doing anything corporate regarding sponsors, okay? But there are pros and cons to both sides, okay? If you do use a small company or your friend's company or even like a local restaurant or something like that for sponsorship, which is great because you get mass exposure, the problem is, well, you don't get that much money, you know? So pros and cons. Okay, moving right along, Chapter 6. Chapter 6, partnership. Are you a lone wolf? Are you in an A team? Me, lone wolf. Lone wolf. I've been in an A team several times. For me, it doesn't work out. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of, hey, dude, super cool art show. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yes, let me just take off my watch. Problem of having an Apple Watch. It always buzzes when somebody contacts you. Okay. And I'm doing this show live. That's how I roll. Okay. So, pros and cons of having partners. Okay, let's say, you organize an event with some of your friends and the first event is fantastic. The second event's fantastic. And the third event, things start to happen. Now, basically, what's going to happen if you're rolling with like 3 or 4 or 5 other people is basically after a while, some of your friends are not going to work as hard as you are. You're really going to love what you're doing. You're really going to love the scene. You're really going to love it so much. And you're just like, dude, this party's great. I fucking love this. It's so amazing. And your friends, they just don't really do anything anymore. And you call them up. You're like, hey, did you get the flyer design done? Oh, no, not yet. I'll do it on the weekend. Weekend rolls by. Did you do the flyer design? Oh man, my mom called and stuff, and she's sick in Canada, and then my brother, like his dog, got hit by a car, and like they start giving you excuses, and then you wind up doing more work than your friends, right? And when that happens, guess what happens? You start to hate your friends, and that's bad. So rolling events with your friends, you got to make sure that everybody has a job and everybody does the job, right? You got to make sure that everybody is responsible, right? Because a lot of times at first, everybody's in, everybody loves it, but then some people kind of like fade away. And it's really bad when you got to fire a friend like, hey, Taka, man, I don't think it's working out. And then Taka gets pissed. Wait, but it was my idea to call it Mr. Bass Company. You're like, yeah, well, that's true, but yeah, you've been outvoted. You're fired, and that sucks. That sucks. And I've kind of been there. Yeah, when you have an event with a bunch of friends and stuff, it starts off great and then it kind of goes down. It always does. It always does. Trust me, I know a lot of event organizers here in Japan. I know so many, and almost all of them have the pyramid style, which is the way I roll, right? And I think a lot of them started off with friends as partners. Now, the pros of having friends as partners is that if everybody has a responsibility and if everybody's responsible and everybody has like, like their goal, they got the goal in mind, the thing is just like, I mean, you could be uber successful. And sometimes that happens. And sometimes like small events with like friends that are working together become corporations. And those corporations get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they become like, the promoters of like, K Arena, Yokohama Arena, Tokyo Dome, I mean, that's how that kind of starts, starts off small and then it just accelerates. But you got to have people that you can work with. Another thing is, you do the pyramid thing, what I do. Basically, you're the boss and you just, you get your friends to work for you, but they're not working aside you. They're not like a partner with you, You got a friend that you hire and you got to pay them too. You got a friend that you hire to design the flyer. You got a friend that you hire to go around to every nightclub on a certain night and pass on flyers or something. You got to hire friends or hire people to promote and do things for you. And that is the pyramid style, just like this pyramid. You're on top and basically you're the boss, you're the CEO, you're the executive. Now that's great, but the problem is if the event sucks, if nobody shows up, if there's any problems whatsoever, it's your fault. It's absolutely your fault. You can't be like, well, Taka didn't finish the flyer. Hey, man, you're the boss. It's your responsibility. If Taka didn't finish the flyer, it's your fault. Or if anything happens, if nobody shows up, and the club doesn't make any money, you don't make any money, the DJs don't make any money, the bands don't make any money, the dancers don't make any money, the fire dancers don't make any money, the stand-up comedians don't make any money, if nobody makes any money, it's your fault. So that's the problem about being the CEO or the boss or top of the pyramid. I mean, there's a drum and bass song called Tough at the Top, right? And I always wondered what that meant, like in the 90s when I heard it. I was like, tough at the top. What does that mean, tough at the top? I didn't realize what it meant until I got older, until I started organizing events. And so I started like having people kind of work for me where I'm like, you got to do this and this and this and this and this. Yeah. It's really tough at the top. Kind of lonely too, by the way. Okay, let's see. Okay, and that's basically it. Chapter 6. Partners versus crews. Okay. All right. Why does it say partners versus crews? That doesn't make any sense. It should be partners versus solo, but whatever, who cares? Anyway, chapter 7, moving forward. Okay, the title of chapter 7 is, hey kids, play fair. Play fair. Once you start organizing an event, you're going to have competition. Maybe you are somebody's competition, or maybe you start a very successful event and then somebody copies you. It's going to happen. Both ways are going to happen to you. If you do this for the long shot, if you're going to be doing this for like years, that's going to happen. If you just have 3 events, if you just want to have 3 events and just enjoy your life after that, yeah, don't worry about it. But the thing is, that's going to happen. Now, another thing is you got to play fair. You got to play fair. Don't start any trouble in the scene. Don't be the bad boy in the scene. Just be cool. Just enjoy what you're doing and just go back to rule number 2. Rule number 2 is God. Rule number 2 is love the scene. If you truly love the music, love what you're doing, love the people that you're working with, love the people that you're working for, love everything, then who cares what any other promoter is doing? And don't start any trouble. Don't start any trouble. There's no point in starting trouble. There's so many people in Tokyo. There's so many people in Japan where it's just like, everybody can have an event every single night of the week or 2 events on the same night. And those events could probably be completely full. Depending on the size of the club, I'm sure they'll be completely comfortable and you'll have no problem. I mean, most of my events are on Friday and Saturday. Actually, no, I think almost all my events at this point are on Friday and Saturday. And the thing is, my friends who are organizers who have events that are similar to mine, they have their events on Friday and Saturday too. Now, we try not to have events on the same day. We try not to do that, but sometimes it happens, And when it happens, it's just like, oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. Geez, I'm sorry. If there's, maybe we can work together and promote together or something like that. Or maybe have like, I don't know. What do you think? So the thing is, just be cool in the scene, love everybody, all the other promoters, all the other events, because the main goal is to basically have a great experience for yourself, for the DJs, for everybody that comes in, even for the people who work at the bar and work at the club and stuff. If there's like a huge positive vibe where everybody's just loving the music and dancing and having a great time, that staff is having a good time too. Those bartenders are having a good time. They can sense the energy from the dance floor. That's a fact. They can sense the energy from like the music. That's a fact, Jack. So basically, if everybody's having a good time, everybody's having a good time. And that's really what it's about. It's about the music, the scene, So yeah, 110%. Okay. So yeah, that was chapter number 7. Play fair, be cool. Okay, chapter number 8, which is our second to final chapter. Chapter number 8 is promotion. Now, if you don't promote, you don't get people in. And to promote, you kind of got to sell your soul. It's hard. It's not easy. And in fact, a lot of times it's degrading, but yes, you got to promote. If you're a promoter, if you're an organizer, every person that you meet, every time you leave your house, every time you turn on your computer, you open up your phone, you do whatever, you got to promote. You got to promote as if there's a gun to the back of your head saying promote or die. Because the thing is that people don't come in, you're just there by yourself with with good music, hopefully, So you got to work hard. You got to work hard. There's many different ways on how to promote. And most of them are good because most of them work a little bit. Even if you do one thing that brings one person in, it's good. For example, flyers. I'll tell you what, this is crazy. I had an art exhibition recently called Tokyo Art Tank. Tokyo Art Tank was absolutely fantastic. It was a brilliant art exhibition that was 1 week long. It was 110% successful for every single person that showed art, that came in to view art, that experienced art. It was unbelievably hands down brilliant. And one thing that I noticed was not all the people, but quite a few people that came in had flyers, actual paper, tangible flyers. They came in and they're like, hey, is this Tokyo Art Tank? And I point to the flyer and I say, it sure as hell is. Come on in. And so flyers still work. Some of my friends that organize events, they don't do flyers anymore. They're like, dude, fuck flyers. Flyers are stupid. But flyers work. I guarantee I've seen them with my own 2 eyes. Other people only use Instagram. They only promote on Instagram and that's it. And that's fine if it works for them. Some people, word of mouth. Other people have websites. Other people do Google. Other people, there's so many different ways on how to promote. There's a million different ways. You can hire a promotion company that will promote for you. You can, they're called advertising agencies. I used to work at one in San Francisco. Yeah. So you can basically, you could do anything and everything is correct. There's no wrong way to promote. As long as you're getting what you're doing out there on the streets, it's good. It's good. So yeah. So basically copy what Coca-Cola does. They're the most successful beverage in the world other than water. Okay. Coca-Cola is number 2. Google it. So yeah, promote. Never stop promoting. Once you love the scene, well, you should love the scene in the first place, but once you get the venue, once you book the DJs, once you get all that stuff, or DJs or bands or whatever you're doing, once you get everything all together, just promote nonstop. Yes. Oh yeah. And speaking of promotion, and actually one thing I should have talked about earlier is dates, times. Okay. This is kind of like a side thing. I guess this should be chapter 8.5, I guess. Or maybe 9. I don't know. Yeah, let's do 9. Dates. Okay. When to have an event. First things first, give yourself more than enough time. If you think it's going to take you 1 month to organize an event, take a month and a half or 2 months. Always give yourself more time to organize an event, okay? And don't think like, oh man, but I really want it to be in July. No, dude, if you do a half-ass job because you don't have enough time, it's going to be a half-ass event. I mean, obviously, right? Give yourself enough time to do it, right? 110%. I mean, Jesus, I mean, God, there's nothing worse than having a deadline like a noose right around your throat, right? Getting tighter and tighter as every single day goes by. Because no matter what, it doesn't matter if you do give yourself like a lot of time to organize an event, no matter what, you're going to run out of time. It just happens. I don't know how it happens, but it always happens. 5 days before your event, you're going to need another 3 days to do the event, you know? Something's going to happen. A DJ's going to quit. A band's going to break up. The venue's going to have a fire. The venue changes managers, and that manager wants to change your contract, even though you signed the contract. You know, shit happens, man. It will happen to you. The more you do this, the more you're going to learn that, because it happens. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so definitely give yourself more than enough time to organize an event. And when to organize an event, in Japan, I highly recommend Friday and Saturday. Those are the two go-to days, right? That way all the local people can go. Now, regarding tourists, if you're in a tourist area and your main focus is tourism and stuff, you can have an event on a Monday and be successful. You know, if you got an event that's got a name out there, or if you're running a club that's kind of famous, you know, you could have it on a Tuesday morning, and I'm sure it'll be like halfway full of tourists that would love to come in and spend all their money and stuff. It's a no-brainer. But yeah, I highly recommend Friday or Saturday, and I recommend, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, if you're going to have a Halloween event, have it towards Halloween. If you're going to have like a summer event, have it towards summer, August, July. If you're going to have an event for Valentine's Day, why not have it on Valentine's Day? I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so that's time. Let's see, what else? Oh, problems. Problems. We were just talking about problems. This is going to be let's finish up on chapter 9. Chapter 9 is good. Okay. Problems about having or organizing an event. Okay, well, let's break these down. First thing that I kind of mentioned earlier is Murphy's Law. Murphy is a motherfucker. Murphy is going to screw you when you least expect it. Murphy's going to get you, son. Murphy's crazy. Now, the thing is, Murphy's Law could be anything. Let's just say you've got the perfect lineup, the perfect day, the perfect club. Everything is perfect, the perfect promotion, but there's an earthquake. What happens next? Nobody comes. Nobody comes. Get this. I'm going to tell you a true story, but I'm going to have to change the names in the venue because I am going to do that. Okay. 2011, it was my first time to paint live in Tokyo, right? And I got booked by my friend who rented a major club here in Tokyo, right? And anyway, the earthquake happened on a Friday, and my friend's event was on a Sunday, right? So what happened was, on Saturday morning, everybody left Tokyo. Tokyo was a ghost town. All the lights were off. All the venues, everything was closed. It was crazy. Overnight, Tokyo just shut down. Most of Japan did. I mean, except for Osaka. And once you got like just a little further west of Tokyo, things were fine. But Tokyo was a ghost town. All the foreigners left. Every single foreigner left. Military people left. Not all military people. I'm sorry. I take that back. Military people stayed. Actually, they went to Fukushima and they helped. They helped like all the victims over there and stuff. So the American military people stayed. I meant to say English teachers. All those English teachers took off. Those investment banker guys took off. Many of my friends took off, never to be seen again. I was working at a sushi plant. I'm going to call it the sushi plant. It was not a sushi plant, but I was working at a company that I called the sushi plant because it was like a factory. And so many people left, where there's like offices that were empty in Tokyo because people are just like, I'm out of here. There's radiation and earthquakes. Ooh, people left. I stayed. Actually, it was funny. When people left, they called it white flight, right? Because like all the foreigners and are kind of back then the majority were like white, right? So they called it white flight. And then somebody somehow Googled it and they're like, oh, that's kind of racist. That's kind of weird. So then they called it Flygene, Flygine, like Gaijin, Flygene, because they all flew away. That was crazy. That was crazy. Anyway, I stayed and I was booked to paint on the following Sunday. So Friday was the earthquake, Saturday everybody left, and then Sunday was my debut as the SPILT ink painting at a famous club here in Tokyo. Now my friend had to keep the venue. He had to keep his party, right? Because he booked the party ages in advance, right? This club is huge, it's massive, right? And anyway, he booked international DJs, he booked local DJs, famous DJs, he promoted all over the city. It was going to be massive. This was going to be it. This was going to be a mega club, a mega party on a Saturday. And my friend at the time, he was organizing crazy events all over the place. This guy was just running out this massive club, that massive club. He had clubs where there was fire dancing and robots fighting each other and sex shows. Like pretty much whenever you think of like, oh, crazy Japan, where all this crazy stuff happens, where people do this and people do that and there's secret nightclub. My friend was the guy that organized those things, right? Until this event. So he was in contract. He rented the place out. This is one of the cons of renting the club out. He rented the club out. He was in contract. He couldn't breach the contract. He had to go ahead with the event. Guess what? Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. All the international DJs that were flying in canceled their flights. All the famous DJs canceled. The bar staff and the security staff didn't even show up. There's like only one bar that was open with one person. And actually, to be honest, that's all they needed because nobody came. I think only a few DJs showed up. I showed up. Hell yeah, I was there. I supported. That was my debut. I wasn't going to miss it for the world. But anyway, my friend lost 20. All right, from what I remember, because this is from 2011, I think it was like 22 or 20 something $1,000 because he had hotels, he had plane tickets, he had all sorts of stuff, and all that stuff you have to pay in advance. The club, he rented out the club, you got to pay that in advance, So pretty much like he lost that much money overnight. Can you imagine losing $20,000 overnight? I mean, that's like going to Vegas and getting too wasted. Oh, it's terrible. But anyway, that is Murphy's Law. And that can happen when you organize any kind of an event, right? So Murphy's Law will get you. You got to be very careful with Murphy's Law. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of like the dark side of promoting, okay? Another thing is you're going to lose friends. Now, if you have one event and it's super successful, it's great. Everybody loves you. Everybody had a good time. You let everybody in for free on the guest list. You bought bottles of champagne. It's great. And yeah, that's fantastic. Second time you have an event, third time you have an event, the fourth time you have an event, things kind of change a little bit and stuff. And yeah, you just start to like lose friends because some people, they get jealous. They're jealous of your success. They're jealous of what you're doing. And then some people, they just don't like your lifestyle anymore. If you're like organizing events all the time, you're going to nightclubs and stuff all the time, maybe you're no longer like Saito-san the accountant. Now you're like Saito-san the nightclub organizer, and people just don't like that aspect of you, right? And yeah, certain friends will just fade away, and that's kind of hard. And that will happen the more you organize events. The next one is lose money. Yeah, just like, what happened to my friend, you can lose a lot of money. You can lose a lot of money because the thing is, it's a gamble. It's an investment. Even if you do the kickback system, where pretty much like your risk is minimalized, you're still spending money on advertising and promotion. You're still paying the DJs and you're paying the bands or whatnot and stuff. You're paying money, And so if you're not making money at the door, you're losing money. Okay. So it is a gamble, and yeah, you can lose money. Another thing is you can lose interest. You can lose interest. If you organize one event and you have a great time, it's fantastic. You love the scene. You love what you're doing. But if you do that 100 times, you kind of maybe for some people it loses its flair, and some people get burnt down because shit, man, it is pretty stressful. Organizing events is stressful. It is very, very stressful to organize an event, especially if you're doing everything yourself. It's unbelievably stressful. There's so much pressure, it's really, really difficult, and very few people can cut it, So a lot of times people get burnt out, they lose interest. And sometimes people even lose themselves, they get hooked on the booze. They're drunk all the time, They're either drunk or hungover, drunk or hungover, drunk or hungover. Because when you organize events, alcohol is part of it. Everybody's drinking. People buy you drinks. People buy you shots. And to socialize with some of the DJs, to be on the same level as a couple of as many bands and stuff, you got to go on drinking with them. That's how you get to know people, especially in Japanese Tokyo culture. You got to drink, right? And some people lose themselves. I've seen it happen. I've seen quite a few promoters and even event owners, like venue owners, lose themselves and lose their venue and stuff. So you got to keep yourself in check, So you got to be very, very careful with that. You got to be healthy. So yeah, lose interest, lose money, lose friends, Murphy's Law. God, it can be kind of a dark business, So you got to keep yourself together, You got to be very, very, very careful. And yeah, it's really, really tough. I mean, how should I say this? When you organize events, there's a lot of stress. There's so much stress because everybody's depending on you. They're depending on you because you need to have the best event. The DJs, they need you to bring people in, right? They need that to be successful, right? The venue needs you to bring people in. The promoters, other promoters and stuff like that, you need to work with them sometimes and stuff. They're depending on you for that. There's so many things, so many people are depending on you. And if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. The stress level is at a maximum amount. It is absolutely crazy. I mean, it is really intense sometimes. I mean, especially if you do a festival and then you do like a small concert somewhere or something, I mean, some of the people that I can only relate to and talk about this kind of stuff is with other promoters. I'm friends with almost every single promoter that's in my scenes, So, I mean, for them and stuff, and we talk to each other, we go on drinking and stuff, I mean, actually, some of the promoters that's in like the rock and roll scene and music scene here in Tokyo are some of my best friends. We go on drinking and we just tell battle story after battle story. We cry on each other's shoulders, We pray that nobody we know walks into that bar and stuff because we're like just whining like little bitches. It's true, we do that. And because it is so incredibly stressful, but yeah. You really, really, really got to go back to chapter 2. You got to love the scene. If you absolutely love the music, you love the people, you love what you're doing and stuff like that, you're going to be fine, And that's it. I think that's all I can do. So this is my Christmas present for you, faders. So yeah, I hope everybody out there learned something about organizing and promoting events. Yeah, if you have any questions whatsoever, don't send me a message. Don't DM me because I'm not going to answer. I receive so many emails every single day because the thing is, when I do receive messages and I don't reply, like the 30 messages I just got right now, oh God, people get pissed off. So please don't be in that group because I'm not going to send you a reply if you're like, hey man, I got like 10 questions about what you're doing and stuff or whatever and stuff. And I was thinking about organizing an event here in my place in Columbus, Ohio, because me and my friends were in college right now. We really kind of want to like start doing like a techno event and stuff because techno's kind of cool. We'd like to, Don't do that. Don't send me anything. I'm not going to reply. Oh my goodness. And I'm everything that I could tell you, I just told you. All right. So yeah. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yes. So faders, yeah, once again, I hope that all of you guys really got something interesting from this. I mean, maybe just hearing these stories and hearing me talk about what I do, maybe that's kind of cool. Maybe that's interesting for some of you. Maybe some of you actually want to come out to Japan and start something, start like a whole new culture, a whole new scene, and God bless you. That's awesome. Hell yeah, man. I mean, the more scenes that are around here, the better the city is and stuff. So yeah, come on here and start something. Yeah, and that's cool. I look forward to going to your events. If you are having an event, send me a free ticket. Send me a free ticket and a free couple of drink tickets and stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely show up. Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, have a really, really safe time out there, faders. I know some of you guys get pretty crazy during the holiday season. I get a little wild too. So yeah, stay safe. I hope whatever you guys are doing out there, tonight's Christmas Eve. Today's Christmas Eve, I guess, and tomorrow's Christmas. And we've got all these other Hanukkah. We got all the other like religions and stuff. I'm not going to say them all because, geez, I just can't. There's just too much to do and think about other than religion. So, but anyway, whatever you're into, I hope you're having a splendid time. Enjoy yourself, faders. Thank you very much for tuning into this very special episode of Got Faded Japan, this holiday special where my gift to you is knowledge. Wouldn't it be really terrible if I came here and I was like, hey, faders, I'm going to teach you guys about like the 5 best sushi restaurants in Tokyo. Please put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger until it goes click, click, click. I would never do that. Never again. All right, faders. On that note, thank you very much for tuning into this very special holiday episode of Got Faded Japan. I've had too much coffee, and I will see you guys again next year. Peace.
My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.
I've got a government job to abuse and a lonely wife to fuck.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
God, the pressure! I can't take it! I can't take it! I can't stand to it!
You sure I should do this, man?
We're going freaking! We came, we saw, we kicked his ass!
Your move, creep.
Oh, man. I will never forgive your ass for this shit. This is some fucked up repugnant shit.
Ah, fuck it, dude. Let's go bold.